Hello everyone! Our vision was a future filled with advanced cities, but what we created were concrete prisons. In this compilation, you'll see the disastrous effects of overpopulation and rapid urbanization. Welcome to the urban nightmare. The number of homeless people in Los Angeles County reached 75,518 in 2023. Ignoring this issue in the country is becoming increasingly difficult, not just because of the tense and visible litter on the streets, but also due to the rising crime in these areas. Unfortunately, similar trends can be seen in other cities across the US. The growing gap between the rich and the poor worsens the social climate and significantly hinders urban development. As a result, social welfare costs keep rising, while reintegration programs do not necessarily lead to more jobs. Luxury car graveyards like this are not uncommon in the UAE. These images show the largest one, located in the Emirate of Sharjah. Abandoned and damaged Rolls-Royces, Mercedes-Benzes, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Bentleys, and many others sit here, left behind by their owners. Some had to flee the country due to financial troubles or unpaid taxes, leaving their vehicles behind. Others simply believe that a car loses its prestige after an accident and choose to simply get rid of it. How do you feel about this kind of waste? Lagos, Nigeria's biggest city, is notorious for its traffic jams, where cars can be stuck for hours. A simple 10-kilometer journey can stretch into a grueling 2 to 5 hours. With a population of over 20 million, it's no wonder the city's infrastructure is overwhelmed. To ease road congestion, they once started developing water transport here. They even built an entire neighborhood on the water, with houses standing on stilts and boats being the only way to get around. This is Makoko. The residents dump their waste right into the water and then use it for household purposes, as there's no proper sewage system. On top of that, Makoko isn't recognized by the authorities, meaning there's no plan for its future. It's hard to imagine how many people survive in such unsanitary conditions. Ghazipur, also known as the Mount Everest of trash, is a massive landfill in India's capital, covering more than 40 acres of land. The towering pile of waste has already exceeded 70 meters in height and continues to grow by 10 meters every year. Around 2,000 tons of garbage from all over New Delhi are dumped here daily, and with the city's rising population, the problem is only expected to worsen. This landfill is arguably the most pressing waste management crisis in India. In some Japanese subway stations, the daily passenger flow reaches several million people. During rush hours, when trains are packed, some passengers may struggle to fit inside. That's why in major cities like Tokyo and Osaka, there are special staff members called oshiya or pushers who help people squeeze into overcrowded trains. No wonder commuters often find themselves packed so tightly that personal space becomes non-existent. For millions of residents, this is just daily life, and it inevitably takes a toll on their stress levels and overall mental well-being. Mumbai, India. Davari, the largest slum in the world, is home to nearly 1 million people living within just 2.1 square kilometers. The residents face extreme poverty with no sewage system. One functioning toilet serves about 1,000 people, or access to water. Despite these hardships, they manage to make a living by producing ceramics or sewing. What started as a grand environmental initiative has turned into mountains of rusting metal and an ecological disaster. China's bicycle graveyards stand as a stark symbol of overproduction and the collapse of bike sharing. Companies poured billions of dollars into manufacturing hundreds of thousands of bicycles, but demand fell far short of expectations. As a result, cities became overcrowded with unwanted bikes, and there were simply not enough parking spaces. The Chinese government has admitted that these massive bicycle graveyards with around 100,000 bikes are a cautionary tale for future tech startups. Authorities impounded thousands of illegally parked bikes, while failed bike-sharing firms dumped the excess in vacant areas to cut disposal costs. It's called the Monster Building because of its enormous size and unnatural shape. This is the largest residential complex in Hong Kong, housing up to 10,000 people. Each of its 5 blocks is crammed with small apartments, 2,243 in total. Some people even fear getting lost inside, as it feels like escaping from these narrow mazes could take forever. The city is struggling with overpopulation and a simple lack of land, which is why such homes often become shelters for lower-income groups forced to live in cramped spaces of just 5 to 7 square meters. But what will humanity do when even these spaces run out? After all, this trend of reducing personal space to fit more apartments is gradually spreading to other regions as well. At the foot of the Mokattam Hills on the eastern outskirts of Cairo lies Manshiat Nasser, often called Garbage City. Life in this neighborhood revolves entirely around waste recycling, with trash scattered everywhere. Most families have been in the garbage business for generations. Every day, around 9,000 tons of waste from all over Cairo are brought here and sorted by hand. The lack of sanitation, running water and sewage systems makes this area a breeding ground for disease. In Bangladesh, there are few railway routes for transporting large numbers of people, especially in rural areas where trains are the main and cheapest mode of transportation. Many people sit, stand, and even sleep on the roofs of the carriages, despite the risks. In 2019, India's capital Delhi was repeatedly ranked as the most polluted city in the world.
Much of it has come from neighboring cities.
The government's asking people to stay inside. Diesel cars and trucks are banned from entering the capital. Construction has been stopped in some factories.
Exhaust fumes from countless cars and motorcycles, open waste burning, and toxic emissions from factories within the city limits all contribute to unbearable air quality, posing a serious health risk to its residents. Some cities in Vietnam, especially Ho Chi Minh City, are experiencing rapid urbanization. Narrow roads, a lack of regulation, and weak traffic laws create massive congestion, leaving locals stuck in traffic for hours. This isn't quite what humanity envisioned when it first invented cars and motorcycles, is it? In recent years, air pollution in Lahore, Pakistan's second largest city, has reached critical levels, especially during winter. Locals are forced to wear masks and stay indoors during periods of heavy smog. When humanity expanded industries and developed internal combustion engines, could we have imagined that we would one day face an environmental catastrophe, one that has already become a reality for some? According to estimates, there are between 880,000 and 1 million bicycles in Amsterdam, which is 20% more than the city's population. The city is also home to 165 canals. So what you're seeing right now is a typical task for the city's workers: fishing bicycles out of the canals. Every year, around 15,000 bikes are pulled from the canals of Amsterdam. In 2010, a massive traffic jam about 100 kilometers long appeared on the Wushuang Highway in Anhui, China. Trapping people for several days. The jam was caused by road repairs, heavy holiday traffic, and vehicle breakdowns. Many were stranded without food or water for hours. This is a good example of how rapid development can strain the transportation systems. State Tower is one of the tallest skyscrapers in Bangkok, standing 247 meters high with 68 floors. In an era where cities are forced to grow vertically, such giants are becoming the new norm. But what lies behind their glass facades? As population density increases and space shrinks, millions of people are already living in concrete towers, losing their connection to the ground. How far can urbanization progress before skyscrapers become the only place we can call home? This villa is located on the roof of a high-rise building in Zhuzhou, a city in Hunan Province, China. The concept of a house on a house is a creative solution to the problem of limited space in large Chinese cities, where population density demands equally dense development. With the global population increasing by 75 million annually, even skyscrapers could run out of space by 2050. Rio de Janeiro is undeniably a city of contrasts. Luxury high-rises stand side by side with impoverished favelas clinging to the hillsides. These aren't just ordinary slums, they often exist beyond government control. As a result, chaotic construction, flimsy self-built homes, overcrowding, high crime rates, and even a lack of basic sanitation are common issues. Vidigal is considered a relatively safe area, even for tourists to explore. However, it's best not to let your guard down completely. Clashes between local gangs or drug cartels do happen here. Keep a close eye on your belongings, or better yet, leave them in your hotel room. The largest favela in Rio, Rocinha, is located in the southern part of the city, between the wealthy neighborhoods of São Conrado and Gavea. Most houses are made of brick, but they were built haphazardly without official permits. The streets are narrow and winding, with transportation limited to motorcycles and small buses. Officially, around 70,000 people live here, but unofficial estimates suggest the population could be as high as 150,000. Addressing problems like inadequate infrastructure and overcrowding often requires innovative approaches. In Chongqing, a train runs right through a residential building. The station is situated on the 6th to 8th floors of a 19-story building, with advanced soundproofing measures allowing the building to remain a residential space. The Citarum River in Indonesia stretches 300 kilometers across the island of Java, supplying water to over 25 million people. However, instead of being a source of life, it has turned into a toxic sewer filled with industrial waste, garbage, and heavy metals. More than 2,000 factories dump untreated chemicals such as mercury, lead, cadmium, and chromium into its waters. Who will stand up for the people living along its banks? High property prices make micro-apartments the only option for many groups of people, especially low-income families or students. It's a relief when there's at least one window in the room, considering that some are forced to live in just 7 square meters with no natural light at all. Instead of becoming a symbol of success and modernization, Burj Al Babas in Turkey has turned into a grim example of failed urban development, earning the nickname Ghost Town. Due to the economic crisis and inflation, the project was underfunded, and some homes remain incomplete. The villas didn't attract buyers because of their unreasonably high prices. Slums in Caracas, the capital of Venezuela, continue to grow, along with rising poverty and crime rates. People from all over the country and even neighboring nations flock to the capital in search of work. In their search for housing, they settle in overcrowded, illegally built districts where there's a severe lack of basic services like water and electricity. This is more than just an intersection, it's a symbol of urban culture and the dynamic pulse of Tokyo life. Every day, thousands of people cross Shibuya Crossing, a bustling hub of fashion and commerce filled with shops, cafes, restaurants, and clubs. Despite the heavy foot traffic, the Japanese stick to traffic rules, ensuring order even in such a chaotic environment, at least for now. This residential complex, designed for 18,000 people in St. Petersburg, has become a prime example of urbanization in a megacity, with all the typical overcrowding problems. It consists of 35 entrances, 25 floors, and 3,708 apartments. And of course, everyone wants to have a store nearby, park their car right by the entrance, or take public transport from the nearest stop to get to work. The 2022 floods in Durban, South Africa disrupted waste collection as garbage trucks were unable to reach bins due to flooded streets. As a result, 8,000 containers overflowed, with some even ending up in bodies of water. Waste piled up across the city, increasing the risk of disease outbreaks. Apart from environmental pollution, factors like dense development, asphalt, concrete, cars, and industrial activity also lead to higher temperatures. This is what's called the urban heat island effect, a problem that nearly all large cities face. As the temperature rises, the energy system faces increased pressure, especially from the demand for air conditioning and other cooling devices, while the risk of heat strokes and heat-related illnesses also grows. The garbage collectors' strike on Bethnal Green Road in London in 2023 was a response to dissatisfaction with working conditions. As a result, trash collection was delayed, leading to pollution issues in the area. Just imagine the scale of waste buildup. The city turned into a real landfill in just a couple of weeks. In the end, commercial businesses on that street stepped in to handle the cleanup. There's a city in China called Tianducheng, which is an exact replica of Paris. While it attracts tourists, there are very few actual residents, so the atmosphere feels nothing like the real French capital.
They made this town to look like Paris. Oh, maybe I am in Paris. Maybe I'm not. When did the Paris start putting Chinese letters in?
A city inside a single building? Yes, such a place really exists. Nearly all 200 residents of Whittier, Alaska live in a 14-story building, originally built in 1956 as an army barracks. What's even more remarkable is that they hardly ever need to leave. The Begich Towers house everything they need: a police station, a medical clinic, a church, and even a laundry. This might just be the most extreme example of ultra-compact urban planning. Despite the challenges posed by urbanization, we're still striving to find ways to make cities greener. In 2014, Milan introduced the vertical forest, a residential complex made up of 2 towers, 110 and 76 meters tall, with 900 trees, 5,000 shrubs, and 11,000 plants on the terraces. While this is just a small attempt to counteract the environmental damage caused by our modern lifestyle, initiatives like this are becoming increasingly important as urban populations continue to grow.